You don't often see two bitter rivals in the ring suddenly decide to team up. But in the world of tech, something that kind of feels like that is happening, and it involves two of the biggest names you can possibly think of.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. We're talking about Apple, a company that is absolutely famous for doing everything themselves, controlling every little detail. And then you have Google, which is, its biggest competitor when it comes to phones. But now, all the reports are saying they're teaming up in a way that could totally change how your iPhone works.
And this is the number that makes it all real. Reports are saying Apple is about to pay Google around $1 billion a year. And what for? Well, they're essentially renting Google's incredibly powerful AI to give Siri a complete brain transplant.
So that leads to the really big question, right? Why on earth would Apple, the company that basically invented the whole "we build it ourselves" philosophy, turn to its #1 rival for something so important? Well, it really all boils down to that little assistant living on all of our phones.
I mean, let's just be real for a second. Siri has kind of become a running joke. Yeah, it's great for setting a timer or telling you the weather, but for anything more complicated, it's really fallen behind competitors like ChatGPT or even Google's own assistant. Apple knows this, and they are planning a massive overhaul, which we should see sometime next spring.
And this seems to be Apple's big answer. Instead of making us all wait for who knows how many years for their own AI to get better, they're making a really smart strategic choice. They're going to partner up to give us a way better experience, like right now. It's a practical move to fix a problem that's been around for a long time.
So, let's get into the nerdy stuff for a minute. Because to really get why this is such a huge deal, we need to talk about one key term you hear all the time with AI: parameters.
Okay, the easiest way to think about parameters is like this. They're the building blocks of an AI's brain. The more of these blocks an AI has, the more it can understand, and the smarter its answers can be. It's the difference between an AI that can only do one simple thing, like set a timer for 10 minutes, and one that can actually understand what you're asking, plan a few steps, or even summarize a long email for you. More blocks, more brain power.
Now, this is the reported number of parameters in the special Google Gemini model that's going to be powering the new Siri, 1.2 trillion. It is a ridiculously huge number. But to really get a sense of the scale we're talking about, you have to see it compared to what Apple has right now.
And wow, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at that tiny little bar on the left. That's Apple's current on-device AI with about 3 billion parameters. Then you have their bigger cloud model in the middle at 150 billion. And then look all the way to the right at the Google model. It's just towering over them. This isn't just an upgrade. It's like going from a bicycle to a rocket ship.
But here's the thing, this doesn't just mean Siri is turning into the Google Assistant. This quote explains it perfectly. Google is providing the engine, this incredibly powerful engine, but Apple is still building the entire car around it. So the new Siri will still sound like Siri, it will have Apple's priorities, and this part is super important, it'll still have secure access to the stuff on your phone, like your texts and calendar.
So the key takeaway is that it's a team effort. It's not a Google takeover. Apple's basically going to use Gemini's massive brain for the really hard stuff, the complex things Siri just can't do right now. But Apple's own AI models will still be in there, handling some of the other tasks.
Okay, and now for the big one, the question probably everyone's thinking about: privacy. According to all the reports, the way this is being set up means your personal data never actually goes to Google servers. The Google AI model will be running inside Apple's own secure cloud, so all your information stays safe inside Apple's world.
$1 billion a year deal with your biggest rival, that sounds pretty permanent, right? Well, all signs point to this actually being a temporary fix, and if you look at Apple's history, this is part of a classic strategy. We've seen this movie before.
Just think about it for a second. Remember when the iPhone used Google Maps? Apple did that until their own Apple Maps was ready to go. And they used Intel chips in their computers for years, all while they were secretly building their amazing M-series chips. The pattern is clear. Partner up to solve a problem for your customers right now, and use that time to build your own, better version in the background.
And that is exactly what seems to be happening here too. The reports say Apple is already working like crazy on its own gigantic AI model, aiming for that 1 trillion parameter mark. The end goal here is always independence. This deal with Google is basically a bridge to get them there without making us all suffer with a subpar Siri in the meantime.
So, you add it all up, what are we supposed to make of all this? If you own an iPhone, Is this whole surprising partnership good news for you, or is it bad news?
Well, on the one hand, this is amazing news for us, the users. We're about to get a Siri that's way, way smarter practically overnight. Apple's putting the customer experience first. But on the other hand, it does show that for what is probably the most important technology of the future, Apple is relying on its biggest rival. That's a huge move, but it definitely comes with some risk.
And that really leaves us with the million-dollar, or I guess billion-dollar question. Is this Apple admitting that they've fallen behind in the great AI race? Or is this just a brilliantly clever move to use a competitor's strength against them, buying themselves time while they build the real future in-house? Honestly, the answer is probably a little bit of both.